You open this door with the key of reason. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of truth, a dimension of freedom, a dimension of joy. You're moving into the land of both the ideal and the real, of the possible and the actual. You've just crossed over into the Capitalist Corner.
Where reason meets reality, welcome to the Capitalist Corner.
That's right, folks. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Capitalist Corner. I'm your host, Mark Pellegrino, also the chairman of the American Capitalist Party, along with my co-host and vice chair of the American Capitalist Party, Michael Liebowitz, who is also the host of his own show, The Rational Egoist, which you should all be looking to. We're living in a completely irrational world today. You need those rational anchors in your life, not only this show, but Michael's show, to keep you feeling and thinking that achieving your values is possible. Being happy is possible. Michael, what's going on in The Rational Egoist?
Well, on Spotify, the episode where Jim Valiant and I discuss these new letters that have come about from Rothbard to Frank Meyer that concerned Ayn Rand. Unfortunately, it's my producer's having a difficult time getting it up on YouTube, but it will be there eventually. But if you just can't wait, you can go and you can check it out on Spotify.
Awesome. I have to say before we begin today's session, it's Q&A day today, so hopefully you brought your questions. We are not affiliated with the American Capitalist Party. If you want to know what that party's positions are, please go to americancapitalistparty.org. Donate and become a part of the change, folks. We need it desperately. These are times that try men's souls, for sure. So I had to make a confession to Michael. I'm going to say it out loud here, Michael, because you're going to be taking the reins for most of the show. I was like, dude, the negative news, the stupidity and irrationality that surrounds us is just so it's so heartbreaking. I'm already so heartbroken every morning. I need to end the show every day on something positive. So we're probably going to have a little positive segment, I think, at the end of every show, just so people know that there are lights of reason out there besides us, perhaps, even though sometimes it doesn't feel that way. Because we want you to be inspired, and we want this show to be aspirational for all of you. That's what capitalism is. It's an aspirational economic system. It invests in the best in humanity, in the most noble characteristics of humanity, and it allows those to push us forward. So, Michael, go ahead. Take the reins, baby.
All right. So let me just give you some context here that the story that I'm about to tell is not going to start out happy. But it's vital that we understand that no matter, in most circumstances, no matter how dire it seems, there is light. There's positive around. So, I grew up in a housing project. My mother was a heroin addict. Father was an alcoholic. I was taught from the get-go that violence was the way to go. I had insecurities. I ended up a violent thug, ended up in prison for 25 years. When I was in prison, my mother committed suicide. There was all types of horrible, horrible things that were happening. But in prison, I decided to put my life together. I studied Ayn Rand. I started to do better, feel better. But there's still, my best friend and I, Brent McCall, we were cellmates for 11 years. We told the truth about the prison system and got separated for it. That was, that hurt so bad. When I got transferred to a prison that was so horrible. I was laying on my bed. It was I think 2 a.m, and these were open bar cells. So most prisons I've been in, the cells consist of a door that locks. Right. The doors on that looks like just like a regular door. These doors are just bars. Right. Like you'd see on TV, that type of cell. So people are just yelling out of these all night long. And I remember laying on my bunk, Mark, and I said to myself, I can't do it. I don't know how I'm going to handle this. I don't know how do I get through this? And it occurred to me, you know what? Now I've got a whole new prison to expose. I can talk about this. I can talk about what I'm experiencing right now. And I got an uplift. So I was there, and that prison was just awful. But I maintained the positive attitude. And then I got a letter from a girl I knew from when I was out on the street. I knew her family. And I fell in absolute love with her so fast. And, I plan to spend the rest of my life with her. And as a result, I made more efforts to get out of prison early. I did get out of prison early, and and she and I got together. She was my family. She had a 4-year-old autistic son that I was raising. He was my family. I loved her incredibly, and so my life is finally being happy. Everything's going good, and she got cancer and died, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And my friend Brent said to me, how much can one person take? But the thing is, we get on this planet maybe 70 or 80 years, right? We're all going to suffer hardships. It's inevitable, and then we're all going to be gone. But we can do things on this planet to make the most out of our lives. So from social media, from all the studying that I did, over the decades in prison, I now have a girlfriend that I love. I have friends in my life. I have Mark Pellegrino, Jim Valiant, two of the most phenomenal people that I could ever have hoped to have known. An ex-convict raised in the project by drug addicts, 25 years in prison. Two of my best friends now are a famous Hollywood actor and a famous objectivist philosopher and former prosecutor. I recently was able to go to the birthday party of one of my heroes, Leonard Peikoff. Because of the things that I accomplished, I was able to communicate with another hero, Dr. Stanton Samanow. Those things are huge, but there's a tendency to say, no, I'm just going to look at the negative, and I do it, believe me, I do it too much, But I always try to bring it back to what is good in my life. I've been to San Diego twice. I haven't been out of prison 3 years. I've been to cons where celebrities are all around. I'm sitting 30 feet from Helen Hunt, sitting next to Mark. That's great. My boss and one of my best friends is a former police officer. I have my friend Subby in my life who does everything for me, allows me to live here. That's great. I've connected with old friends that are doing better now. That's great. But it's very easy when you do what you and I do, where we have to read the news every day, because you get this impression that everything is just fucked in the world, right? It just looks like everything's terrible. And look, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. There's plenty of negative stuff out there. There's plenty of stupid people out there. There's liars out there. There's people, that get on my nerves. But in the end, if I'm upset, I can call Mark fucking Pellegrino for advice, for comfort. I can call Jim Valiant anytime I want. Comfort. My friend Subby, I can go talk to. My girlfriend, give me a hug. Eventually, it's all going to be gone, right? I'm going to be gone. We're all going to be gone. But I can still make the most of this now, no matter how negative it is. No matter how bad it is. I mean, I look right now, I see Persephone smiling, the way she's ogling me. I mean, that's just wonderful stuff, man. So there is a lot of positive stuff out there. It's just you have to choose to focus on it. You have to direct your mind toward it, recognize it. If I look at Mark, yes, Mark, you just suffered a catastrophic loss of Frankie, right? But you also got 20 years of a relationship with a dog, the likes of which most people will never even begin to comprehend. How fucking wonderful is that? Right? Would you trade any of that to get rid of the pain you went through in the last month or so? Of course not. You would volunteer every single fucking day to deal with this pain, to have all that comfort, right? That's great, man. Life is great. You have great friends. You have a successful career. You have character and integrity. So, yes, there's a lot of good in this world. And I'm with you on trying to focus on it a little bit more. But it's just not going to be easy to do it. So if we slip, if we don't end the show on a positive note every day, I'll ask the audience. Let us know. Call us out, right? But we got this show, man. We just started it a few months ago. We got almost 600 followers. We make people laugh. We inform. We entertain. It's fucking good. It's good, Mark. There is good in this world. And there's people that absolutely adore you. I'll keep going. All right. Jim Valiant has given me the smiley sunglasses. And by the way, Jim was fantastic yesterday in this discussion that we did about Murray Rothbard.
Is Jim ever not fantastic?
when he sides with you over me.
No,
Yeah,
he's even more fantastic in those moments.
Oh, that's just codswallop. But anyways, so look at the love you're getting here.
I'm looking at the private chat because I think those are where the questions are coming, but I haven't looked at, and plus I have my contacts in because I thought I'd be able to see better with my contacts from a distance.
And you were wrong.
It's worse. I can't read anything that's up there now. So you're going to have to read all the, and plus I'm crying. So it's like, you're going to have to read all of them.
So everything's on me. That's okay. I can handle it. You ever heard Jesus take the wheel? Fuck that. Liebowitz take the wheel.
No, you don't have to do everything, but I'm definitely here. But you're going to have to definitely read the question.
It'll be just, listen, I got to do everything. It's just like most of my sexual relationships. What can I tell you?
Well,
Persephone's blushing. Persephone's blushing.
Good for the girl.
All right.
You're a generous lover.
I used to, I would, I used to in prison for fun. I'd go and I'd say to guys and I'd look.
You don't preface any comment with "I used to in prison."
Yeah. So listen,
after a comment like,
no, it's funny though. So I would go to them. I would go to people and I'd say, hey, not for nothing, but word around the prison has it that you're a generous lover. Is that true? Guys,
just walk up to a random murderer.
Yeah, all the time. All the time. All right. So we've got some questions here. Let's back it up. I'll go here. I'll go to the private chat. There was a good question, though, that I wanted to answer. The earlier question is the one I'm going to answer first because I can do what I want, I guess, unless Persephone yells at me. Can I do what I want, Persephone, or do I have to do these first? I can do what I want.
I think you can do whatever you want. It's your show.
Well,
you don't even need permission from Persephone. It's your show.
No, but I don't want to.
For me, and we're it's a joint venture.
We're heterosexual life partners.
That's right.
Okay, so, and I haven't even finished. My coffee cup is still full. Imagine when I guzzle this thing down.
Well, your energy is fueling me. It's making me feel a lot better. I have to say, I really appreciate that.
All right. Well, I love you, brother. So the question was, do we get anything out of any other philosophies other than that of objectivism? And I will say unequivocally, yeah. I mean, I got stuff out of reading Aristotle. I've gotten stuff out of reading the Stoics, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius. I've gotten stuff out of. I'm not a person that says I can't get anything out of something. I mean, even Plato, I found the dialogues very interesting, very edifying, although I disagree with most of it. So sure, I've gotten things out of other philosophies. Nietzsche, there's quotes from Nietzsche that I find to be absolutely awesome. When you put them in the broader context of his philosophy, they tend to shrink. But yeah, sure. Especially when it comes to political philosophy. Hell, I've even gotten stuff out of Murray Rothbard, who Jim and I kind of skewered yesterday.
Yeah, I have to say the same thing. For me, the Stoics really offered me something. I mean, as people know from watching our Self-Made Soul podcast, I didn't come from a very good upbringing as well. My upbringing was conducive to producing neurosis and unhappiness. But the Stoics sort of bridged a gap for me for a while. I mean, religion sort of bridged that gap for me for a second or two. And then I turned to the Stoics as a more rational version of religion. It sort of acted as an emotional triage for me. It helped me to see beyond what I was feeling at the moment. The Stoics don't necessarily make it look brighter, but it certainly helped me to bridge the gap and know that, well, there's more than just what I'm feeling right now. Aristotle, certainly, but I think Rand is based a lot on Aristotle. It's an Aristotelian-esque philosophy. And yeah, I think you get stuff out of reading stuff that's oppositional to you as well. To understand what's wrong is just as important to understand what's right.
Which Rand actually recommends in her lecture, Philosophy Who Needs It, which is in essay form in the book Philosophy Who Needs It. I had something that I wanted to say. Now I forgot what it was going to be, and I want to say when I did the Objectivist Academic Center, I mean, I thought we were just going to be studying objectivism, but we studied pretty much everybody. I mean, we read excerpts. We didn't read whole tomes from Hume and Hegel and other philosophers. We read excerpts of their stuff, and we had to think about it and write about it, and it was good to know that stuff. Yesterday, this is what I wanted to say. Yesterday at about 5 of 12, no, what time was it? I don't know. at some point yesterday, around the time we were doing the show, I got a text. Then today, 5 minutes before the show, I got a text. Both times these texts were from our competitor, one Razi Ginsburg. I can't help but think maybe he's trying to throw me off with these texts.
Did he ask you to co-host?
No.
Oh, he's just.
Why, he asked you?
He's asked me to come on our ARC UK a couple of times, and I'm like, no, it conflicts with our show. I can't do it. But he forgets.
I think he. There's some hostility. He feels I've poached you, whatever. You know what I mean. But let's just admit it. I mean, I love Razi, but I'm just far more fun. Let's keep it real, right? I mean, I'm just.
Razi's pretty fun. Razi's pretty fun.
He's not even in my league, dude.
That's true. Well, he doesn't have your energy. He doesn't have your commitment to that energy. He's got a dry sort of.
And I don't have his
delivery.
Money. I mean,
it's a stiletto sense of humor. Yours is more broad-based. I would compare you guys to, he's an American nuclear weapon and you are a Russian nuclear weapon.
You know what he is?
One's
I'm going to tell you.
And yours just takes out the entire.
You've got this whole thing wrong.
Okay,
he's Felix Unger and I am Oscar Madison. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, but he texted me before the show. I don't know what he's trying to pull. He really didn't, like, whatever. We love Razi. But maybe he's up to something. You don't know. But I'm just kidding. I don't like.
He probably is. He probably is.
But sometimes people believe. Like I say things kidding, and to me, it's obvious when I'm kidding. But to some people, it's not. I don't know. I mean, I can turn off my joking and not joking. Like I can't turn off my sexiness. That's just there. But the humor,
is that a non sequitur? Is that a non sequitur?
What do you mean?
Was that a non sequitur talking about your?
No, I'm discussing aspects of myself that I can turn on and off, and aspects of myself that I can't.
Okay.
My charm, my sexiness, that's there. Like that oozes out. Look at Persephone. I wish you could see her. Oh my God. I'm putting her on. Get ready. Look at her. Look at the blushing. Oh my goodness. Bye. Hi, Persephone. Bye. All right. Next question. Are you ready for a new question?
Yeah, sure.
All right, good. This is from Janar. I've never heard of Janar before, so I'm very happy that he's here to ask a question. He says,
is this in order? Are you taking this in order or is this out of order? I can't tell.
It's the top comment.
Oh, okay. All right. One I thought you read. That's how blind I am. I thought you read that.
When I get asked the first question, I literally said I'm going to take this one out of order because I wanted to answer it.
Okay.
And I said, is it okay? And you went through a long diatribe about how I can do whatever I want.
You have to speak to someone in cognitive decline much more slowly so that I can catch what you're saying. All right. So I actually am.
You're lucky you're pretty, dude. All right. So what, now I don't even know what the hell
you're going to the top comment.
Okay. When does a government have a valid claim to step in and regulate some aspects of the free market? Let's take spent nuclear fuel, I'm like George W. Bush, nuclear fuel as an example, as incorrect storage can do lots of harm to humans living and working nearby. Does a government have a right to regulate how it must be stored?
I would say no. Now, look, this is not the American Capitalist Party's point of view, but however, you do have cases in a completely privatized economy where property rights matter and are sacrosanct. The government enforces property right. And if somebody's toxins are spilling into your property, there are objective reasons to go after them. They are damaging you objectively. And that can be proven in a court of law. So you can go after them civilly for damages. So it wouldn't be a regulatory state telling a company what to do and how to dispose of stuff. Because think of this, when you think of the regulatory state which establishes rules, those rules those minimum rules wind up becoming the maximum rules that companies go for, as opposed to letting companies look out for their own self-interest and they know they're going to be competing in a sense with other folks out there. The innovation becomes the next standard. So the company doing the best becomes the next standard for people. And that includes disposing waste, for example, in the safest possible way. Because if you think about it, if the companies are responsible for your safety, and it's part of their selling point, their reputation in that area would mean the difference between a living business and a dying business. Now they can defer that responsibility off to a regulatory agency, and then that responsibility gets diffused through the agency, and nobody can fix blame to anyone for doing bad things. So I think it's better regulated by private property rights, to be honest with you. And I think private oversight orgs to inform people as to products and the history of the product, and everything about the company, so that you are an informed purchaser. It requires people to take responsibility of their lives. They just can't slough the responsibility for their own safety off onto the government. They have to take accountability for that kind of stuff. But I think that's the world that I would want to see. Do you differ, Michael?
I don't know. I definitely sympathize with everything you said, and it makes sense. But I do think the job of the government is to defend the rights of people. And I don't know about the nuclear storage, because quite frankly, I don't know enough about it. But I can certainly conceive of situations where somebody is engaging in such dangerous behavior on their own property that the government can step in. I wouldn't frame it, though, as regulation. I would frame it as rights protection.
Yeah.
Only because I think that that's the standard that we need to keep in mind, that we're not trying to control economic outcomes. We're trying to protect individuals from having their rights violated by other individuals. So I don't know specifically about the spent fuel rods, but I do think that there is a point, and I don't know that I'm pretty confident, actually, you can't pinpoint the exact place at which it is. But when something becomes so obviously a threat to the rights of others that it can be outlawed, for instance, drunk driving. I mean, I think that there's plenty of arguments that can be made to regulate drunk driving, even though the person hasn't harmed anybody yet. I think when somebody's hammered.
Oh, dude, look, I want to tell you a quick story. We were coming home, a bunch of friends of mine were coming home from a party. We're on Fountain Boulevard. We're going east towards Sunset. And we see this car in front of us veer off to the side of the road and hit 3 or 4 parked cars and keep going. And he's just wandering all over the road. I'm calling the cops on my phone while we're chasing this guy down. He finally stops at a light. Me and my buddies get out of the car. All right. And we rush up to the car, and my friend reaches into the car and grabs him. And the guy just takes off through a light and everything. He didn't hit any cars, but he just kept going.
I love that sound you just made.
Yeah,
oh,
down Highland, not Highland. It's not Highland. So Sunset.
Anywhere near Mulholland Drive by any chance?
No, a little far. That's in the hills, but sort of close. So he goes off down, speeds off down Highland, disappears, almost runs over my friend. By the way, he tried to grab him out of the car, and we're calling the cops. I think he gets apprehended later on, and they give me a photo lineup of the guy. And I end up identifying him. I think they didn't tell me if I identified him, so I guess that's prejudicial. So I'm like, did I get the right guy? And they're like, we can't tell you. And he was totally stone-faced, poker-faced, doing his job. That's good due process there. But yeah, that guy hadn't hurt anybody yet, but he was on the way to mass. I mean, he had actually collided with a couple of cars and taken their mirrors off. So he had already screwed up a couple of people, but he hadn't physically damaged any human being yet, but he was on his way to that, definitely. So yeah, I think the government can step in at that point and protect lives, because the guy's impaired and he's got essentially a weapon and he's driving it at 60 miles an hour down crowded streets. And so there are people really at risk, and you got to restrain that guy. You just got to restrain that guy.
All right. I think we've solved that problem. Jannar has another question, but I'm going to skip his and go to Jenna Kleem's comment because, well, I don't want to give the same guy twice in a row. We'll get back to him. But Jenna Kleem wants to know, who owns the wildlife? Should wildlife be protected, managed, and if yes, how? Want me to answer this first, or you want to go?
You go first. You can go first. I have
no issue with people homesteading wildlife and owning it as private property. I actually think that if that were allowed, that would go, and this isn't my reason for doing it, but I do think that if that were allowed, wildlife would be far more protected, because then people would have a personal interest in actually protecting it. But that's not my reason for it. I just don't see why not. I mean, if we can own cats, we can own dogs, we can own livestock, why not let people, own things? Now, again, we can go back to the earlier thing. Does that mean that somebody should be able to have an unleashed tiger, in their front yard? No, I don't think so. But generally speaking, I think that wildlife should be subject to homesteading.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I would say. I mean, when you think about owning domestic animals, they're domesticated. That means they serve a human purpose. A human intervention has created a different being than exists in the wild. I don't think anybody right now owns wildlife, but you would all property be private, and then you could decide what it is you want to do with your land, as Michael said. The environmental business is a massive business, billions and billions of dollars. Now they spend all that money on legislation, forcing other people to adopt their values. They could equally, to better ends, spend all that money purchasing land that now, for example, our national parks. They could purchase that land, privatize it, and then and monetize it so that all of the money goes towards the preservation of that land, and it's private income and it's not hurting anybody, and people go to visit. It'll be much better kept up, at least as far as I know. Statistically speaking, private parks are in much better service condition than public parks than, say, Yosemite is now, where it's just a mess. It's crowded with lots of people. The wildlife is being sort of choked out. I think people who own that property would be able to govern it much better. Keep the population down to a minimum. It might be a little more expensive to get in there, but the environment would be a lot cleaner, a lot more pristine, a lot more what you're looking for when you go into that world to get away from the city. So like Michael, I believe in that homesteading thing. I believe privatizing all that property. Environmental groups have the resources to do it. Instead of imposing their will on the rest of us, they could just buy property and conserve it.
Nice. Nicole Hingle wants to know, can Trump's brand of economic nationalism coexist with capitalism, or are they inherently at odds? They're at odds. They can't coexist.
Exactly. No, they can't. Okay. It cancels out capitalism entirely.
Yeah. So Race Jacobson wants to know if you're planning on, or if we are planning on dressing up for Halloween. I kind of wanted to dress up for this show. I just had a lot to do this morning. I considered coming on with the tank top and a do-rag and going as a hoodlum. But I said, well, that's not really good.
Are you going to go door to door as a hoodlum?
They'd call the cops. Yeah, they would call the cops. You know what we used to do when we were kids?
Go in your Department of Corrections
yeah. We used to we would go trick-or-treating as kids. We'd tell them, listen, I can't even believe it. My little brother's sick at home. He couldn't trick-or-treat. Could you give us a little extra for him?
Oh. I went trick-or-treating once as Shazam, and I wore a Shazam mask, and apparently I couldn't see it out of the mask, and I ended up running straight into one of the house's doors, like just flattening the mask against my face because I couldn't see where I was going. Oh, I was only in first grade, though. Forgive me. No, it was last year.
I figured it was about last year.
Yeah.
Let me zip down here a little bit.
I'm dressed up as a guy who knows how to play the jiu-jitsu game. That's my costume for the day.
You've got a lot of, I think I've read this book. Megan Ribbons talks about the subtle art of not giving a fuck. I think I've read that.
I've read it as well. Is that Mark Manson?
Yeah, I read one of those I don't give a fuck books. I just don't know which one.
I read it as well.
Let's see. I'm looking.
That's sort of a modernized version of Stoicism, right? I mean, it's sort of like that this too shall pass, and, prioritizing things in such a way as to not really worry about shit so much.
Let me see. I'm looking for a good question. Okay, Tammy Gidman. I have a medical condition that has caused a severe decline in cognitive thinking and learning and understanding certain topics. I don't quite understand most of what is talked about in terms of capitalism. How could you explain it in a simpler way? You get to keep what you earn.
Yeah, I would say you, Tammy, in a capitalist system are the highest value, and the government protects you so that you can go after the values that make you happy. That includes your friends and family, and it includes a universe of values that incorporate other people into your life. So a capitalist system is one that protects you and allows you to be who you are and to go after the things that you love and that make you happy. I don't know if that makes good enough. It's oversimplified, but I think that's in essence when we talk about capitalism, we're talking about a system of individual rights and freedom, right? Which means nobody can hurt you. Hurting you is against the law. It's against the law. So no matter, they can't hurt you for your opinions. They can't hurt you for the way you think or the way you look. They have to leave you alone. They have to tolerate you, provided you don't, initiate force against them. You've agreed to live in this society, and that agreement is shown in the form of tolerance, which is I agree to disagree with this human being, but I'll live beside them and coexist in peace and not initiate force against them. That's what tolerance is. Anyway, go back to what I first said, because I'm starting to complicate it for you, Tim.
All right. Megan says that Rozzy called to ask me to help him count his stacks of gold bricks. Megan would know. Megan's a regular over there with Rozzy. But
where do you get this sense that Rozzy's like this multi-millionaire guy?
Oh, dude, come on. I know, I understand you guys got to stick together, but come on. But I'll tell you this, though. It's nice because I think Megan might be a double agent because she dimed me out. She ratted me to Rozzy. She went and told...
I like that term. I've never heard that expression, dimed me out.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've never heard that.
I don't know.
It doesn't
how
sound
do I even respond to that?
I don't know.
You've never heard dropped a dime?
Oh, dropped a dime. Yeah.
Dime me out. Dropped a dime.
Oh, you changed the concept.
No, they're all the same thing.
Okay.
But anyway, so Megan's went and told Rozzy how I talk about his vast wealth. She ratted me out to Rozzy. So we have to kind of be careful maybe when Megan's around about what we say. I'm just saying. Okay. No, we love Megan. Megan's awesome. When you're that pretty and that smart, you could rat me out all you want. That's fine. Let's see what else we got here. Private sector and so far, blah, blah, blah. Sorry.
Are you looking at the private chat now?
There's no private chat. Everything's public now. I've already gone through I've looked at everything in the private chat.
Now, the private chat has massive questions going on here. Massive questions. Like I'm seeing tons of thought bubbles here.
Megan has brought in, she says, domesticated animal biomass is increasing faster than human biomass.
So that goes to tell you when humans are interested in preserving a thing, like private domestication of animals, they flourish. So let humans have an incentive to do that. If your value is raw, untouched nature, then purchase the land and don't develop it. If you want people to see it and experience it, if you want to make money from it so that it's generating a profit for you, then do it in such a way as to, preserve your values and at the same time letting other people enjoy it too.
All right. Megan says, so true, Mark. So evidently we have another
who said that a long time ago? Back in the day, you go through a bit of a conservative stage when you're into objectivism before you outgrow that, when you realize the conservatives aren't really conserving what you think are proper values. Rush Limbaugh once said, "You want the elephants to survive? Let the people own them. Let the people own the elephants." Because there was a big controversy at the time. This was back in the 90s that elephant populations were becoming extinct. And it's like there was a monetary incentive for people to go poach them because they would make tons of money off the ivory. Their economies were restrained by authoritarian rulers, and so the people you really had no other interests but to kill them. But if the villagers individually owned these elephants, they would have every incentive in the world to protect them, especially if they were making money from tourism and making sure this wildlife stayed alive. I guarantee you the elephant population would double and triple in size once you put human ownership in there. Right?
We need Robert Nacer wants us to stop breaking balls and get a super chat button. That's Robert's advice.
Thank you,
Persephone's yelling something. I don't know what she's yelling. We can't hear you. So then don't say it. You type it. Come on. Okay, what about bears? Get yourself a bear. Super chats. Okay, what the hell I was going to tell you something. I hate when this happens to me.
No, I don't.
Oh, I got a text from Andy Bernstein. Oh, no. Okay, what was I going to say to you just now? I had something I wanted to tell you.
I don't know.
What were we talking about? Oh, Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh.
So I used to absolutely love Rush Limbaugh, right? I started to have my doubts, though, once when they were talking about abolishing Social Security, and he said, no, because you're going to end up taking care of the people anyway. And then somebody called up talking about legalizing marijuana, and he says, well, if you're talking about just letting people do what they want, that's one thing. But, and he, got this voice. If you're talking about the moral fabric, and I thought there's no fucking such thing as the moral fabric. You've just invented something to justify your, I'm swearing today. You've invented something to justify your bias and your statism. And then but I still liked him until he went all Trump, and then that was it for me and Rush. He was out. And I think he probably felt the loss.
Yeah, he was still around for Trump, wasn't he? Yeah, for a couple of years.
Trump gave him the Medal of Freedom.
That's right, he gave him the Medal of Freedom, but he passed away shortly thereafter, didn't he? From what I remember. Yeah. Well, he had aside from a lot of his.
I wonder where that comes from. Where does that come from? Passed away. What does that mean?
I don't know. We can ask Grok.
Persephone, look that up for us, please.
Grok will know. I've been ever since because of you, Michael. I now ask Grok pretty much everything. Anything I want to know, I ask Grok, and it's actually carrying on conversations with me where it wasn't doing that before. It was just giving me straight answers. Now it's like, "Yo, dude, what's up?" And it gives me the thing. Here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? It's actually asking for feedback, and
it's like cool with you now.
Yeah, I did something to get in Grok's good graces. I don't know what. Hey, buddy.
Chandler loved when Rush would say he had half his brain tied behind his back. I did too. I
loved his sense of life.
He's a superb communicator.
He was a great communicator. He had a good sense of life, right? He was always optimistic. He was wrong about a lot of things, of course, which is why I had to give him up. But he also got me further along the road to understanding objectivism, believe it or not. Like I said, sometimes you have to, not sometimes, most of the time, you understand a thing by understanding what it's contrasted with even more. And that helps you get a better conceptual grasp of your beliefs. And so he helped me. I have to say he helped me along the road, as much of a bonehead as he may have been in many respects. Do you have another question there? I see tons of questions.
I want you to keep talking because I'm sending Andy this link. I want him to tune in.
What are you planning on dressing up this Halloween, if anything? Did you already?
I did, yes.
Yeah. You're going to do the ex-con coming to the door, and I'm playing like I know how to.
All right, Jim Valiant is saying that AI says 500. I've gone through this so many times now. With it's 1,000. Please stop harassing us, Jim. No, you can harass us. What the hell do I care? All right, let's go. Private chats. The phrase passed away originated in 15th century England and was initially a literal description of the soul's journey to the afterlife after death and the conclusion of funeral rites. She's yelling at me to look at the question above. Drug abuse, corruption is bad. We advocate for drug legalization, yet prefer not to see it out in the open. Conflicts of interest in politics. Is it better if it's hidden like career politicians do? I don't know. It's a confusing question. I think that private property rights pretty much solve that problem, though, of whether it's out in the open. Because if a guy if a bar owner wants to have people shooting dope at the bar, then let him do it, and see how good business does. Because I won't be going there. But I don't think that it's one person or one group of people's place to tell a private property owner or a restaurant owner, whatever, what people can and can't do in that person's business.
Agreed. Did I tell you my one cigarette smoking story, Michael?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sometimes I forget that I tell you things. And so in California, I don't remember exactly, but I think this was in the 90s. They banned cigarette smoking inside buildings and including bars, right? And within like 100 feet or something of each building. It was an absurd fascistic measure. So I was at this legendary Hollywood bar called Bordner's. It's been around forever and ever and ever and ever. And I asked the owner of the bar, I'm like, how do you feel about this, California legislation? He says, it sucks. It's terrible because people come in here and they smoke and now they can't. Now they got to go outside. It's a whole thing. And Borders is an old time bar where people came in there and they smoked, old time Hollywood stars and all that stuff. So I'm like, what, would you be okay with me lighting a cigarette? Would you mind if I light a cigarette in here? He's like, be my guest. So I lit a cigarette and smoked a cigarette. The only cigarette I've ever smoked in my life that wasn't in front of a camera was there in protest of the California law that banned smoking in private buildings. Because now, Michael, according to the statists, a building isn't private if it's open for business.
That sounds to me a little bit like a biting off your nose to spite your face thing. Like they don't want you to
What I
smoke.
did?
So yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no.
you want to protest a law, so you're inhaling poison.
Well, I just you do.
Like
You
I'm
do,
not inhaling.
I was taking a risk to stand against an unjust law that I think does a lot more
No,
damage.
but I think you could have done it other. Like there's guys that do hunger strikes. In prison, the hunger strike is a big thing. And I always thought this was a dumb thing. Like I'm mad at the prison, so I'm going to starve myself. No,
Well, hey,
I'm eating.
But Jordan Peterson was going to do it if they put him in prison for violating the Canadian law on like language.
I don't like Jordan Peterson. Whenever I
know,
see
but he
him
was
and
like,
hear
if
him,
they put me in jail, I'll protest this law. If they put me in jail, I'll go on a hunger strike. It depends. It definitely depends on the value other people put on your life. You know, you're basically saying, I'm going to kill myself, and it's your fault.
you know what I never mind.
What?
I would say go ahead and knock yourself out.
You
That happened to my mother. My mother, it's not really funny, but my mother had a friend, and the friend called up my mother and says, I'm going to kill myself. And my mother said, this is, when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old. And my mother says, go ahead. And the guy did it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's rough business.
Oh my God. I don't know how I'd feel about that. Well, I guess she didn't really think he was.
I believe at the time that was like the advice they would give. Like if somebody tells you they're going to kill themselves, you tell them go ahead because it's a call for attention. It's a bluff.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know about that, man. I don't know. Usually when they do it, they don't ask you to.
What do you think? You think there should be laws against? I don't think they actually have laws against suicide.
Yeah, they do. They have laws against physician-assisted suicide.
That they have laws against. But what do you think? You think if people want to off themselves, they should be allowed to?
Yes.
I do too.
I mean, that's an uncomfortable truth of.
And I don't care. Like people say, like some people make the argument, well, if a person's suffering, I don't care. If someone wakes up one day and says, I no longer want to live, go ahead. It's your life. The problem is that I don't see how another person on this planet has the right to tell another person, no, you must stay alive.
But not only that, but you haven't endured enough suffering. This suffering isn't really of the level that would qualify for you to actually take yourself.
Yeah, we're going to have the board that judges it. No, well, maybe if you just a little bit more pain, then we'd allow it.
It's crazy, Michael, because a lot of people would say that we're advocating for for death. Like you see the Republicans when they come out against physician-assisted suicide, they talk about we're a society of life, not of death. Well, actually, you are a society of life by enabling people to take control of their own lives when they're suffering unbearably, and existence is an unbearable proposition for them. They should be able to take control of that. That is a worship of life. That's saying life is more than just physical processes. It's more than just breathing and a heartbeat and involuntary reflexes. It's an experience. It's an emotional experience. It's an intellectual experience. It's a universe. And as capitalists, that's what we are. We're an aspirational party that understands that life is more than just material existence. It's a psychological phenomenon. It's a spiritual, philosophical phenomenon. It's an intellectual phenomenon. Human beings are very complex, and go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say the right to die to me is an affirmation of life. It's that people have control over their own lives and whether they choose to live or not.
I agree.
What, you see something you want to comment on?
Drug abuse. I think you got all of those. Why don't we go to some news items here? I think I feel better now. All
right, go. Let's go. Okay, we've talked a lot about the positive. Let's get to the negative. At least let it be bullying Dave Smith.
We can talk about him, but I wanted to first talk about Donald J. Trump's Truth Social post, where he said, because of the fact that the Democrats have gone stone cold crazy, the choice is clear: initiate the nuclear option, get rid of the filibuster, and make America great again. Once again, Donald Trump not seeing beyond his belly button and not understanding that this was what the Democrats were calling for just a few years ago. And now they're using it to assert minority rights over a majority. And I think that is good. The filibuster must remain.
If you're asserting there's a problem there, there's no problem. I'm just going to tell you. Remember when he said that to Marco Rubio?
No.
Oh, my God. So they were in the debate, and Marco Rubio made fun of Trump's small hands.
Oh, yeah.
And Trump says, he's insinuating there's a problem. And just so you know, there's no problem in that area.
Oh, my God. That's so absurd. And that's when political discourse reached its nadir.
So when you just said he can't see past his belly button, that's the thought that came to
He's got
mind.
an Audi, from what I understand. And the Audi obscures his...
Why are you studying this man's belly button? I don't understand.
I don't know. What do you think of this? I mean, the filibuster is a tool for the minority, and it's
He
important.
wants to get rid of it because it stands in his way, as he wants to get rid of everything that stands in his way. He thinks there should be no obstacles to his will. It's as simple as that.
And that's scary. Especially
it is.
the fact that we understand that he's admitted outright that he doesn't lead rationally. He doesn't rely on reason to make any choice in life. And now that should disqualify him even for the Trump derangement syndrome types on the right. That this guy doesn't lead with reason.
Once he commented with Howard, once he commented with Howard Stern about his own daughter's sex appeal, that should have done it.
Did he do that? That's right. And he's slapped her on the butt a few times, hasn't he?
He said weird things, man. Weird things. Talking about his infant daughter, saying we don't know if she's going to grow up to have his wife's breasts, or it's all weird stuff. He's bragged about, he's bragged about sneaking into the women's dressing rooms at the beauty pageants. The dude's demented. I mean, that's just, his own private stuff. Never mind all the garbage he's pulled in office and since he's been a politician. But they just ignore it. I don't know. Like, I don't have the capability to evade reality to that degree. I don't have it. There was a time when I did. I don't now.
I heard somewhere, I may get this figure wrong. I heard somewhere that he and his family, since he's gotten in office this time, have netted somewhere in the neighborhood of $350 million.
What was that again?
I heard somewhere, you might have to confirm this on Grok.
Persephone.
Since Trump has been in office, he's netted his family somewhere in the neighborhood of $350.
Oh, I've heard it's more than that.
350 million, or maybe it's in the billion neighborhood. Maybe it's Maybe it's upwards of the billion neighborhood. So basically, securing the dynasty of Trumpism forever and ever and ever.
See,
as far as
this is. I'm going to tell you the secret of Trump. One of the secrets of Trump. So, somebody this morning yelled at me, or doesn't yell at me. Oh, it's so tiresome. Trump posted about how the election in 2020 was stolen from him. So, did I freeze? Am I frozen, Persephone?
You're not frozen to me.
Okay, because you're frozen. All right. So yeah, you're frozen. I can hear you, but you're frozen. It's funny too, the look. All right, you're unfrozen. So, he posted the other day how the 2020 election was stolen. So I posted today and I said, Trump concocted a story about how the election was stolen from him because his ego can't handle losing. That's why. So this guy comes, oh, you're so tiresome because you keep talking about Trump. And I said, well, you know what's tiresome to me is the people that defend him, the people that argue how great he is. It's tiresome to me that he keeps implementing tariffs. It's tiresome to me that he's unconstitutionally deporting people. It's tiresome to me how he's unconstitutionally bombing alleged drug dealers in the ocean.
Which now is up to 67 killed, by the way.
Yeah, it's tiresome that he unleashes the military in the cities of America and does so unconstitutionally. And, but the thing is he doesn't stop. And what made me think of this is Nicole Hingle says, oh, I forgot about that, because he does so much that you just can't keep it all. You can't, it's like the Crow epistemology. You can't keep it all in the forefronts of your mind. But if you go through just anybody out there, Persephone, you can do this because I boss you around. So, okay, let me answer Persephone's question. Your question, Mark. She says the most comprehensive tally comes from an August 2025 New Yorker investigation, which estimates the Trump family has earned $3.4 billion in presidency-linked profits since 2017 across both terms.
That is unbelievable.
No. He's
Larceny.
not taking a salary. What do you mean?
Larceny. This is horrible. This is theft, man. Yeah, if you thought Biden was an insider, was a crook, was a slippery dude, which he was, you on the right have to fucking see this. I mean, this makes what
they don't
what
have
Biden
to.
did.
No. They don't have to.
This makes what Biden did look like peanuts. It makes it look like nothing. $3.4 billion. This tribe has stolen from the American people.
Yeah. So this is what Persephone, this is your task. This is the mission if you choose to accept it. Google all the instances where in his personal, business, and political life, Donald Trump has claimed something was rigged against him. You've got to see this. This is insane. It's insane.
Everything. The world is rigged against him. Whenever he loses, it's not that he checks his premises like a responsible thinking human being would do. He blames the world
because his fragile little ego can't hear it. So Katie Ellis is hollering at us. She wants to know if the states have a right to sue over the shutdown and people being put out of SNAP benefits. I don't know, because I don't know the nature of the SNAP benefit law. I think that the idea that there are SNAP benefits is unconstitutional. I don't think the government should be giving people money to begin with. But the way that it's been ruled and all that, Katie, I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that either. That's definitely a James Valiant question, but the existence of SNAP benefits are immoral, I think, on their face. So, you know.
And unconstitutional.
Unconstitutional. They're immoral and unconstitutional.
Nicole says he is crybaby. I don't know if she's talking about you, if she's talking about Rational Frontier.
I am a crybaby.
Well, Rational Frontier steps in and is talking about how he overslept, like anybody cares about his sleeping habits. And so then she says he's a crybaby. So I don't know if she's referring to him. I don't understand. He's in India. I mean, if I were over, no, never mind. But he says he overslept. Chuck on Money comes in just when Rational Frontier comes in. I'm starting to think maybe they're the same person, and that Chuck on Money is just Rational Frontier's shit-talking avatar. But he says the spoil system as described in the law by Bastiat. Crazy man in the 1840s realized this, but not people in 2025. Bastiat's the laws. Phenomenal. And by the way, the two things that Bastiat listed that were rights violations in the United States at that time, slavery, tariffs. And he said these could be the undoing of America. Not long after that, we had the Civil War, and we're still dealing with tariffs today.
Indeed.
I knew, Nicole, you were referring to Trump, but I had to make some kind of a joke. Rational Frontier says, no, they're different.
Hey, Michael, we've been seeing the right embrace an increasingly bigoted, racist, anti-Semitic ideology now. You sent me a tweet from Billy Binion that said, quote, Jews are running society, women need to shut the fuck up, and blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. This is from Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, you should have started with that and not from Billy Binion.
Okay.
You said, here's a quote, here's a text from Billy Binion, and then you said all that stuff.
But Nick Fuentes is being protected by guys like Dave Smith, who tries to justify that guys like this have a right, or we should be having a discourse and discussion with jerk-offs like this, and that neutralizing them, which we were talking about yesterday, is somehow bad. No, I think neutralizing them, now that I'm looking at it in this context, Michael, is actually a good idea. All it means is
that whole controversy.
Ostracizing. It's just socially ostracizing somebody.
Yeah,
like
the guy, what's the guy's name? Josh Hammer. He says that Tucker Carlson needs to be neutralized. And all the snowflakes on the right come out. Oh, he's calling for his killing and blah, blah, blah. Just there's such... all the things that they've said the left were, they are. I'm not that the left isn't.
Not only that, but Dave is coming out and supporting Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson because he wants to parasitize their crowd base.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, yeah. And this whole idea. So what this Josh Hammer does, he said, why don't we just use the common meaning of neutralize? And he posts the two. And then Dave comes in and says, oh my God, he clipped the third definition. Yeah, dick, because he's saying we're using the most common definition. That's how dictionaries work. The most common definitions are listed first. Why would he list every definition of the word when he's saying he's going by the most common? But I mean, I struggle. Are they dishonest? Or are they dumb? I don't know.
I think they're a
Both.
combination of the two, and I think both are true. The continuation of this tweet says, "This is who the president of the Heritage says we shouldn't cancel. Refusing
Yes,
to
we
associate with that isn't cancel culture. It's having standards."
That's what Billy Binion said.
Billy Binion said that, and I have to agree with Billy Binion.
I agree with Billy Binion. I think we need to
Heritage.
give Billy Binion extra praise today after what you implied at the beginning.
Indeed, I think we have. I think I might have quote tweeted that. But look, the Heritage.
Persephone is looking especially lovely today.
Heritage.
Just want to throw that out there.
Yes, that's true. Heritage at one point I thought was an interesting intellectual think tank, and now it seems to be going down the tubes. It's been captured by this Judeo-Christian nationalism that is, tribalism is all that matters to this group. They're very much like they are the woke right, as James Lindsay would say. There's a woke right and a woke left, and if
And
you
they
don't
all
think that's
suck.
happening, they all suck. They're not good options. Ditch them as soon as possible, because right now they are the ones who are dictating the narratives, and that's scary. Because they both don't have solutions to the problems that ail us.
Oh,
So you said you wanted to talk about Dave Smith because you tweeted a lot about Dave Smith recently.
yeah, but it all centers around this whole issue of what he tries to push.
So don't you think he's actually just trying to ride on the coattails of their followings and trying to soak up some of their support so he can gain more followers? Because there's nothing has been clearer to me than that Dave Smith really thinks if you're popular, you're good. You're right.
Yes. So yeah, I think you're right. I got a message here from Subaquatics. Who the hell knows what that is? But that's the guy's name or the lady's name. Let's get to objectivist government. We can flesh out the rest later. He's referring to arguments with anarchists. To be fair to me, because I like to be fair to myself, the whole reason I've been arguing with anarchists lately, I didn't start it. I put up a rather, I thought, good post. My point, my focus right now is on MAGA. That's who I want to combat, specifically the objectivists who are aligned with MAGA. But the other day, somebody made one of these, Austin McIntyre, one of these woke right idiots, said he was talking about who we're to be ruled by, and he said I would rather be ruled by people than by systems, and I said I would prefer not to be ruled.
Ruled. Hello.
And now an anarchist steps in. You want to be ruled, and blah, 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 blah. And this particular anarchist got me very upset, because the reason I got upset is because I've debated him twice, and he was probably the worst or the second worst debater I've ever gone against. Absolutely horrible. I mean, it was so bad that after the second debate, I told him, dude, you might not want to air this.
Wow.
I said, you might, like, I was trying to be nice, but he then wants to keep coming and like picking at me. And I'm like, dude, I don't owe you my time to keep eviscerating you. Like, I don't need to keep doing that. But so when I got into with him, the other anarchists all chopped in. So that's the only reason I was even arguing with them to begin with. But I would much prefer to not argue with them because, I mean, no offense, guys, but you're really not that influential. The MAGA, on the other hand, that's a much bigger threat to my freedom. So
yeah,
that's
MAGA
what I
has
would prefer to do.
MAGA has destroyed the Republican Party. And I have to say, Michael, I predicted this in 2016. They sat, I don't know why they considered me a conservative, because I would tell everyone I wasn't a conservative, especially
Doesn't
at that
matter.
time. But they sat me down with a group of Hollywood actors and producers who were, the New Yorker, sat us down and had an interview with us. I was the only anti-Trump guy in the bunch. But I predicted in this New Yorker article that Trump would be the end of the Republican Party. And I was right. Thank you. Patting myself on the back. My prediction is coming true before our very eyes. So, Mike, it's time. It's time to split. I want to thank you for being such an optimistic, awesome voice right now. You really helped me out. Look, I have to give the capitalist thought of the day, and Mike said something about I would prefer no rulers at all. In a capitalist society, you are not ruled over by people. You choose to delegate certain authorities to other people in order to subordinate might to right, in order to maintain the peace and promote reason in a society. That's why we delegate certain responsibilities to the government, mainly the protection of our rights and the use of retaliatory force. Those people are not then empowered to rule us. They are only empowered to retaliate against those who have harmed us. So in other words, they are our protectors, and their fiduciary responsibility is to do that, only that job. And yes, I said it.
No, I was laughing at a post. Not
okay.
Go and just continue.
And so in a capitalist society, you would be your ruler. You would be the king of your own castle, the queen of your own castle. Nobody would lord over you anything, and your life would be your responsibility. So that is the ideal society for me. It doesn't end in outcomes that the left wants to see or the right wants to see. The outcomes are unpredictable, and of course your future is unsure, since only you can determine that. But it's far preferable to being controlled as we are now. We are certainly ruled now, and as the capitalists of the world, we don't want to be ruled anymore. So, Michael, what's your question? Your one question.
My question is going to be quite simple. Please go and answer this question. Go to YouTube and answer it. We need your comments. The comments are really lacking over at YouTube. We need the comments there. Please go. And my question is this. What can I do over the next few days? Not me personally. What can you do? What can you do over the next few days that can improve your life almost immediately? What can you do over the next few days to improve your life immediately? Have a great weekend, everybody.
Folks, thank you. Remember to like and subscribe before you leave. I got to say this. Like and subscribe before you leave. Remember to share it across social media platforms. We'll see you on Monday, folks. Same bad time, same bad place. 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. Until that time, folks, check your premises and peace.